This past September 6th, the Texas power grid saw arguably the biggest threat of rolling blackouts since the 2021 winter storm. And we're just now finding out about it. The power grid managers at ERCOT are blaming renewables, a lack of wind and solar power on the evening of September 6th when the power faltered and we just about hit rolling blackouts. Energy expert Doug Lewin joins us this morning to help us sort this situation out, which was quite surprising. Doug, thanks for being with us this morning. How close did we come to a crash on September 6th?
Yeah, we were very, very close, within a couple hundred megawatts. Now, to be clear, it wouldn't have been a complete grid collapse or something like that. It would have been rolling outages that would have affected, some thousands of people for probably an hour or so. Still, it was very, very close, and it was a very serious incident. Frequency dropped below 59.8, which for grid nerds, that's a very, very big deal. It just doesn't happen very often.
Hey, Doug, how did this happen? How does ERCOT miscalculate what's the strength of its system on a day that they knew was going to be a problem? We knew there was a heat wave. We knew that there was going to be a lack of wind. How did this happen?
Well, so the main problem was there actually wasn't a lack of wind. It's just that the wind was very concentrated in South Texas, and there's only a certain amount of transmission lines that can bring it out of South Texas. And the way they operate the main transmission line to bring all that abundant wind into the population centers is very, very conservatively. And what it looks like, Brett, and I'm not saying that this necessarily happened. My main point is ERCOT shouldn't be allowed to judge its own performance, to sort of grade its own paper, if you will. What it looks like they did was, in order to prevent the grid from getting into a crisis, they put the grid into a crisis. They actually curtailed or sort of turned back 1,500 megawatts. That's a whole lot of power and would have been more than enough to have kept the frequency where it needed to be and averted what was very nearly a crisis.
Why are we just now hearing about this? Why? I mean, maybe you knew about it. I saw it come out on Thursday and we're just like, what? We knew it was a bad day. We didn't know it was this bad, did we?
Yeah, I mean, I had a sense of it. I wrote an article about it on September 7th, the day after, and it sure looked like, because you could actually see on the dashboard the wind going up, 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 and then all of a sudden it just crashes down and then starts going back up again. That's not the way wind acts. So it sure looked like they had curtailed it, and their immediate response was to blame there wasn't enough wind, when in fact there probably was. They just weren't, it looks like, managing it right. So we knew about it then. The sort of news, Wednesday at 4 p.m. before Thanksgiving was that ERCOT filed their full report, quote unquote full report. I don't think it's quite the full story.
So just about a minute left, Doug, but why should we have faith going into this winter in ERCOT or the management of this system going into this harsh winter?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to answer that question other than to say there shouldn't be a whole lot of confidence in the way ERCOT is operating the grid. These transmission constraints, this was a big, big deal on September 6th, but they're actually operating this line like this throughout the year, which is causing additional congestion and higher costs. The other thing, Brett, they had done this, they put out an RFP, request for proposal, trying to get new capacity into the market in just a period of a month or two. And they didn't get any, and that was doomed for failure from the beginning. And that raised a lot of questions about how much capacity, do they think they could actually get? How much do they understand the market, which they're supposed to be administering? There can't be a lot of confidence right now.
Doug, I guess what I hear you saying is the system's still not fixed yet. Hey, Doug Lewin, Stoic Energy, as always, thank you very much for your insight and being on with us this morning.
Thank you, Brett.
And all attention is now focused